All right, shalom, most high in Christ bless. Shalom, most high in Christ bless. Yahweh Hashem Barakatham to all the 12 tribes of Israel out there. Y'all excuse me, man. I'm having some technical difficulties over here fooling with this camera. My apologies. Hope everybody is having a good start off on their week. Okay. Hope everybody's enduring to the end. All right. Welcome to another 2S Sword Tuesday. I'm your brother Paz, Yasha Rala. All right. And we're going to come with some more edification, a little bit of exhortation, all right, for our people. We know that our people are sick. Hopefully y'all can hear me pretty clearly. Hopefully y'all can hear me pretty clearly. All right. Today will be a part 2 to a segment. May go up to part 3. But we're probably going to have 3 parts of this. So, it's just part 2 of this today, all right? Measure the times. All right. All praises to the most high, man. So, one thing I wanted to kind of go into, I know I'm always a little bit late on responding to certain things and just, overall giving my insight on certain things that's going on in the world. Um However, hey man, you gotta let the most high move. Uh Let me know if Janae, if you can hear me, man. Let's see. Yeah, you should be able to hear me. I was gonna get my wife to tell me. But just letting the most high move, man. It's been a whole lot of things going on in the world. And just not enough time to really, go into all of these different things, all right, and limit the time that we're on these classes or doing these videos. But one thing I wanted to kind of talk about is, is even to this day in 2024, you still are seeing a lot of examples of our people, you know, um, getting dealt with unjustly. Okay, you have a lot of that going on. So the Javian McGee situation, that's what we're gonna kind of go into it just a little bit today. Um the real issue that I have with this particular situation is it's crazy he was in my state, which is concerning. More or less, he was in North Carolina and he was found, hung on a tree. He wasn't hanging exactly from a tree, but they found him dead with a noose around his neck at a tree. And there was no clear explanation of what's going on here. And it's a little bit concerning because number one, this wasn't, sorry, I'm losing my train of thought, but this wasn't even broadcast. Like the news didn't, it took the news a little bit to even cover this. Which was really the most teeth gritting part of that whole situation is the fact that a life was lost in such circumstances. It was a weird situation and it wasn't important enough to be covered by the press. So that just lets you know how valuable you are here in the United States of America, or how valuable you're going to be in most, any other place you go into, because a lot of our people feel like, oh well, I'm going to go to Africa. I'm going to go, I'm going to leave America. But at the end of the day, what you got to realize is that these curses are going to follow you everywhere you go. All right, you're going to be considered Israelite. You're going to have to deal with the curses of the Israelites anywhere you go. You're going to be considered black. You're going to be considered Hispanic. You're going to be considered, Native American or whatever. All right, anywhere you go in this place where we're at, you're going to be um dealing with these curses. All right. But let's get right into it, man. All right. Shout out to everybody that's tapping into the class so far. All right, we're gonna go back to Second Esdras, chapter 9, verse 1 through 3. I had said a typo at the end of my class last week, and I was basically saying y'all meditate on First Esdras 9, but it was Second Esdras 9, and I hope that you really, if you did watch my class last week, that you actually did meditate on that thing, man, as we are measuring the times of everything that's been going on, everything that's currently going on today, and self-examining yourself. All right. So, nonetheless, let's go straight into it, man. I'm gonna see if I can find it on Google. Actually, I should have did all of this beforehand. Let's see here. My apologies. Let's pull it up. Yeah. Let's pull it up and we're gonna read it. It'll pop up. All right. So we're gonna read Second Esdras. Hopefully you all can see this. But the book of Second Esdras, chapter 9, and verse 1 through 13. It reads, He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before. Let me make sure something. Excuse me, y'all. Yeah, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time. So all of the things that we reading about in the scriptures, right? The Most High done already warned us about all of this stuff. All right. Verse 2 again. Then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. One thing to understand, we'll say it again. The Most High God is the just God. All right. He's everything was created. We know that when we read in the scriptures, Christ got to return to the place that he created. If you believe in the New Testament, you understand that all things were created by him and for him. When you read in the New Testament, all right? So we believe that Christ did create all of these things. We know that the Most High created him, right? But it says, then shalt thou understand that is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. So we know that Christ is going to return. We know that Christ is going to return, and it's going to be supreme order. It's not going to be anything that you could just break. It's not going to be something that you could just run away or walk away from. All right. In verse 3, it says, Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world. Right. So the Bible just said that there will be earthquakes and there will be uproars of the people in the world. We know that all of these things are going on with the earthquakes. We know that it's constant uproars going on, especially right now going on with the presidential run, right? It's the weird thing about this is that we only have 2 people running right now. It used to be a long line of people that was running for the presidential spot. All right. Verse 4. Then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. So everything, including kingdoms, right? Kingdoms have a beginning, just as well as they're gonna have an ending, right? Just like with anything else, it says in the world have a beginning and an end. So the hierarchy that you see today is not going to be the hierarchy that you see in the future. All right, this place has to be destroyed. That way, that a more righteous kingdom can take over. Right, verse 6. Even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonder, and powerful works, and endings in effects and signs. Verse 7. And every one that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby ye have believed. Verse 8. Shall be preserved from the said perils and shall see my salvation in my land. So these are the righteous Israelites that are going to be redeemed and saved from the destruction of this place, right? The thermonuclear fire that's getting ready to come here. Okay, with all these wars and Christ, and with Christ, excuse me, and with Christ Yahweh's return, man. And it says, and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. Right? So the Most High knows righteous Israelites. He knew who you were from the beginning, from the time that he created you in the womb. All right. Verse 9, then shall they be in pitiful case, which now have abused my ways, and they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torments. So we know that those unrighteous Israelites are going to be the ones that dwell in those torments, that are going to be destroyed with this place. Okay, verse 10, for such as in their life have received benefits and have not known me. So we talked about this last week, so we got to revisit this. It says, for such as in their life have received benefits and have not known me. All right. There are a lot of people that have money. There are a lot of people that have monetary things in this life, but they have never known the Most High God. They have never understood Christ. Okay. So imagine that. Verse 11. Verse 11. And then they that have loathed my law, meaning despised my law, while they had yet liberty, right? While they had freedom, they despised the laws of the Most High God. Though these are the same people that understand what they have to do. These are the same people that knew that they needed to repent, right? And they that have loathed my law while they had yet liberty, and when as yet place of repentance was open unto them, right? They had time and chances given all men, right? It says when that time of repentance was open unto them, they understood not, but they despised it, right? Verse 12, the same must know it after death by pain. So this is one thing we got to understand, that Christ is going to return to bring death and pain, right? Verse 13, and therefore be thou not curious how the ungodly shall be punished, right? They might not be punished today. They might not be punished tomorrow, but we know that there's going to be a judgment for all the ungodly walking this earth, starting in the house of the Lord, starting with you so-called blacks, natives, and Hispanics, whose forefathers are of Negro and Indian descent, the Israelites. And but inquire how the righteous shall be saved, whose the world is and for whom the world is created. All right. So from there, we're going to go into this video. All right. I'm going to go into a video and we're going to watch that. All right. All right.
We were asking questions after this man was found dead in Vance County at the base of a tree with a rope around his neck. His name is Javian McGee. Many of you reached out to us after a TikTok video went viral. WRO's Destiny Patterson.
So people were having to reach out to the news from TikTok, man. Think about this. The police didn't report this. This didn't matter in a sense. Had this been a white person, had this been anybody else outside of our people, we would have known about this. But it took for people to report this thing from TikTok to go and get it to the news, right? When we know that there was, in fact, had to be a police report made in regards to the case of this brother, man. That's sad.
Has been digging into his death and joins us live from Vance County. Destiny, you spoke to the sheriff today. What do we know about this crime, about this case, from law enforcement?
Just in the last 20 minutes, we've gotten a search warrant that gives us more insight into this investigation. A representative for the family says that Javion McGee was a truck driver, and I'm told that trucks often park here while making deliveries at a nearby Walmart distribution center. The sheriff said that McGee was found outside of a fenced area of this business, and they say that they found him at the base of a tree with a rope around his neck. 21-year-old Javion McGee stopped through Vance County as part of his job as a truck driver. It's a long way from where he lived in Illinois. Deputies found him dead.
So this is already crazy because the brother, we was just in Illinois, man. And the thing is, this is every bit, Illinois is every bit specifically Chicago. If he is from Chicago, that is literally 12, 13 hours away from us. So this brother was 12 to 13 hours away from home, and they find this man basically lynched right here in North Carolina.
Dead Wednesday under a tree with a rope wrapped around his neck.
We have a lot of questions, not enough answers.
Candace Matthews identifies herself as a spokesperson for his family. She says law enforcement initially told them McGee died by suicide.
This young man has not had no indication of no type of suicidal ideation. He doesn't have a history.
See, this is the thing, y'all. Why is it that where are the men at? Right? Where are the men speaking up on behalf of this brother, man? Right? This is what we need to be asking ourselves. Where are the men that are like, why is it that the first thing that they show is a black woman? I have mad respect and love for our sisters, but why is it that a black woman has to be his spokesperson to go and seek out answers, to be like, we need answers and we need them right now, right? We're gonna go to the book of Isaiah. I wasn't even gonna pull this, but we're gonna go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 5 and verse 13. I'm gonna pull it up on the blue letter. All right. Let's go to the blue letter, man. I just want to pull this scripture out, man, because this is concerning and it just hit my spirit. All right. The book of Isaiah, chapter 5 and verse 13. And it reads, therefore my people are going into captivity. We know that the so-called white man didn't go into captivity. We know that no one else went into captivity outside of our people. We know that Esau was an indentured servant in his own kingdom, right? We know that, but we're talking about people that were in captivity and had to serve people for free for 400 plus years, right? And before that, time on in, right? So the book of Isaiah chapter 5 and verse 13, it says, therefore my people are going into captivity because they have no knowledge. We went into captivity because we failed to keep the commandments of the Most High God, man, right? We don't have any knowledge to this day, which is why we're having a hard time figuring out what next. What do we need to do? How do we get away from this situation? And it reads, and their honorable men are famished, and their multitude dried up with thirst. So where are the honorable men at, man? Right? Where are the honorable men that we can look at, the honorable elderly brothers out here? Where are they speaking up in regards to this brother, man? Why did it take a sister to speak up for this brother? All right, we're going to go back into the video. If I'm lagging, y'all, it's definitely raining here in the city. So the Wi-Fi already be tripping back here where I'm at. So please bear with me. All right, let's go back to the video.
History of mental illness.
At no point in time that we have said this.
History of mental illness. No indication of no type of suicidal ideation. He doesn't have a history of mental illness.
So he has no history of mental illness or showing any signs of that he was depressed or suicidal.
No point in time that we have said this was a suicide.
Vance County Sheriff Curtis Brame says they're still investigating McGee's death. McGee's family does not believe he took his own life. But how can we rule out a hate crime at this point?
Look at me and who I am. If I thought that anyone, regardless of their race, was lynched in Vance County, I would have it all over national news. When we got there, he was sitting.
You see that? He's saying the exact same thing that I'm saying. Had it been anybody else, all right, had this been anybody else, any other race of people, it would have hit the media, all right?
With his back up against the tree on the ground. It's something common we would say, and we would call a jail suicide or homicide, where a person does not have enough height to hang or dangle.
McGee's family says they were told surveillance footage showed McGee buying a rope from Walmart.
And if you know anything about lynching yourself and committing suicide that way, typically you're standing on something, right? What was this man standing on, all right, before he hung himself, right? So me personally, my spirit is picking up on the fact that this brother definitely had somebody lynch him.
The sheriff says they're still looking into that. He says the medical examiner's office will officially determine the cause of death.
Mom and stepdad and dad has not even seen his body yet.
Sheriff Brame says the family could not view the body in person due to distance.
So we're going to go into talking about this, all right? Matter of fact, no one can see his, keep in mind, y'all, no one is able to see this brother's body. Now, this is already a red flag, and it's already sounding crafty, because what are you trying to cover up to the point where you can't allow this man's grieving family to see his body? All right.
We want to see everything. We want full transparency.
You want full transparency from people that have been lying to you from the beginning, right? We can't expect full transparency and full honesty and integrity and all of these different nuances of things, that these high expectations and standards for a people that constantly have been killing us, a people that have constantly been arresting and throwing us in jail unjustly. See, this is the problem. We are still expecting full transparency and integrity from our enemies.
As I mentioned before, we do now have a search warrant. We're going to continue to dig through that and bring you those details as we get them. Even at this hour, the family stories and law enforcement stories don't quite align. Now, McGee's family has hired a national civil.
She said that no one's stories are aligning up, man. Right? It's a bunch of confusion behind this brother getting killed.
Civil rights attorney, and an autopsy has been ordered and will be performed. Destiny Patterson, WRL News.
I mean, what do you need an autopsy for? The brother was lynched. I mean, let's be real. What do you need an autopsy for when the brother was lynched? What else? What more evidence do you need to show that the brother was lynched? It sounds to me like they are trying every angle that they can to try to figure this out and cover this up, man, and sweep this under the rug. This should show you how valuable you are today in 2024, black man and black woman. What does the sister that got killed earlier this year? This is still going on. But as soon as you talk to any of our people about the white man, or as soon as we say that this salvation is for everybody, or the moment that we say that this Bible is only for everybody. No, excuse me. The Bible isn't for everybody. I slipped. The moment that we say that this Bible isn't for everybody is the moment that our people go and say the first thing that come out of their mouth is, what about the white man? These white people don't care. They ain't trying to search for this man's killer. They didn't care to put this on the press. They didn't go out. They wasn't trying to really pursue this. If we had TikTok, we had to use TikTok to get it to the news. Right? Let's go into the scriptures, man. Let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7 and verse 7. Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 7. And it reads, surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart. This stuff should be pissing you off. Let's just be honest about it. This should really upset you that in 2024, our people are still getting treated like scum. Let's say that the man he killed himself. This wasn't valuable enough to even reach the press or to reach the news, man. Right here in North Carolina, right here in the South. This should upset you. These type of things should upset you. And then we sit and we argue and we go back and forth in regards to whether or not that we should have equality and that we should push universalism and that we should all just get along, when obviously we still getting treated as the scum of the earth. You got to be a special type of sick in your mind to depend to be in captivity and oppression for over 400 years and still depend on the people that have been oppressing you and holding you hostage and have not been giving you all the resources that you need to succeed as a people. You have to be a special type of sick for that. To be like, I'm going to try to make this work. And then you listen to some of these simple white folks out here that they say, oh, I love black people. I love Hispanic people. I love Native American people. But at the same time, these are the same people that are benefiting in this society, that have a head start. That aren't going to go and try to sign a petition or for what's the word I'm looking for? That are not going to sign these petitions to build up black communities, to build up the Hispanic community. They're not reparations. There it is. They're not going to go and root for reparations. These are the same people that are saying all of this, but they're not trying to do anything to change our situation. All right. So the Bible just said, surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart. So this man that gave us all of these other things. He's given us food stamps. He's given us, what else has he given us? Section 8. He's given us, heck, he gave us the stimulus packages. But that wasn't really, that was for everybody, right? He gives us all these little things in his society, and all of it is still designed to keep us low. It's still designed to keep us at the bottom. Yeah, you can be on Section 8. It was a video of a sister crying because she was getting evicted out of her apartment because she was trying to hustle Section 8. Yeah, you can be on Section 8, sis, but guess what, sis? You can't work a job. Most of the time, you can't work a job, right? You can't, a lot of times you can't even have a car. You can't make but so much money a year, sis, but you can be on Section 8, right? All of these jobs out here, all you have to do is get up every day and go to work and make money to take care of you and your family, man, right? But we have all of these things that are set before us to just keep us destroyed. Tobacco, menthol cigarettes, right? Crack cocaine, when they put that out on the streets in the 80s. Cocaine, when that was really hitting the scene, I don't know exactly if it was the late 60s or in the 70s, but when that hit the scene, right? Heroin, we know that Ray Charles was addicted to heroin. All of these things that were put here and designed to destroy us. But all praises for how the Most High works, because now we see that even in the white communities, now it's just an opioid addiction. Now it's just you're an addict, right? When that thing, one of the very things, the drugs that they have planted out here as one of the very things to destroy our people are now destroying their people. But now it's like, oh, we're just gonna send you to rehab. We're gonna pat you on the back, and we're gonna get through this together. But when it come down to you, darky, right? They're gonna throw your butt in jail. Right? Let's move on. Shout out to everybody that's tapping in tonight. All praises to the Most High God of Israel and his son, the Christ, Yahweh Shai. All right, let's go to the book of Deuteronomy 32 and verse 7. Again, I am late talking about this particular topic, but I felt the need to. I've been wanting to talk about this for some time, ever since it happened. So we had to cover this, man, because this is major, man. This is definitely major, and a good eye opener. I forgot how to spell Deuteronomy. They won't let me abbreviate this. I always spell it wrong. Y'all bear with me. We ain't gonna be on here long today. 32 and 7. All right. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32 and verse 7. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32 and verse 7. And it reads, remember the days of old. Remember the days of old. This is what the Bible says. Remember the days of old. This is Moses talking to the Israelites. Remember the days of old. Remember when y'all was held captive by the Egyptians. Remember when you was held captive by the Assyrians. Remember how you was held captive by the Babylonians, by the Persian Medes, by the Greeks, by the Romans. Remember how you were held captive by the so-called white man in the Americas, in the Caribbean, right? Remember these things. Okay? That's what the Bible says. Remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. Consider everything that your forefathers and your foremothers had to go through before you hit the scene, before you came here, before your generation was even thought about. All the things that have happened to them, right? It's not going to happen today. It's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen, a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. These people have been here destroying us, and they're going to continue to destroy us. Right? It says, ask thy father, and he will show thee. By opening up these scriptures, listening to the prophets, tell you, hey, man, the Bible prophesied all this to happen. Listening to the prophets, it says thy elders, right? The elders that's been teaching this thing, right? And they will tell thee. So the Bible has all the answers that we need to our problems, essentially, right? Basic scriptures. We have some basic scriptures. Let's go to Romans 15 and 4. Romans 15 and 4. Romans 15 and verse 4. And it says, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. Everything that the Bible prophesied, everything that was written in this book, right? For you so-called blacks, natives, and Hispanics whose forefathers are of Negro and Indian descent, was written for our learning, right? When brothers and sisters start going off, we can go to the Bible, right? To measure the time. The Bible said that this was going to happen, right? Because this happened in the past. Everything that was written in the Bible was written for our learning. We have to remove the religious mindset that we have and move towards understanding that this Bible is the book of our forefathers and our foremothers, and it is simply a history book. Just like you read every other history book about anybody else's history. If you want to read about Genghis Khan, you can go read about that in Mongolian history. If you want to read about the Vikings, right? You can go learn about the history of the Scandinavian Viking period and so on. When you want to read about the Israelites, the Jews, you go to the Bible. Real simple. Really simple. All right, so let's start getting into the meat and potatoes of the class. We're going to get to the meat and potatoes of the class. Let's go to Psalms chapter 10. That was just a brief overview. The book of Psalms chapter 10. And we're going to do some reading. And Psalms 10. Let me see. One through 11. 1 through 11. Psalms chapter 10, verses 1 through 11. Okay, we're going to get into the actual topic at hand. All right, and it reads, "Why stand fast thou afar off, O Lord? Why hidest thyself in times of trouble?" We asking ourselves, you got people all the time that be like, man, if there was a God, why would we be in captivity? Why would we be going through the things that we're going through? God ain't listening to me. I pray to God, God ain't hearing me. Right? It says, "Why standest thou afar off, O Lord? Why hidest thou thyself in times of trouble?" Right? Why are we going through these things and you aren't here to save us, Lord? Right? Verse 2, "The wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor." Right? "Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined." Right? So the wicked are going to be taken by their own devices. Okay? Verse 3, "For the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire, and blesseth the covetous, whom the Lord abhorreth, whom he hateth." We know that there are a lot of rewards that you can receive in this kingdom by being wicked as hell. Right? The moment you stand up for any type of righteousness, the moment that you stand up and have some integrity, or you stand up for truth, that's the moment you're going to get persecuted. Right? Verse 4, "The wicked, through the pride of his countenance," that prideful look. Okay. Yeah, I'm an American. Right? I have special privileges because I'm the so-called white man. Right? It says, "The wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after God." And yes, this is talking about some of you Israelites, because a lot of you Israelites have a prideful countenance, a prideful look. And I'm going to start holding some of you Northern Kingdom folks accountable, because it's a problem when we wear the American flag as the so-called blacks, right? But we never hold y'all accountable for the flags that y'all represent, that those lands were conquered by Spanish conquistadors, right? I just had to throw that out there. Why it hit my spirit, right? It says, "The wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after God." God is not in all his thoughts. So we know that God ain't dwelling in a lot of these Israelites' thoughts out here. They don't give a damn about what the God of this Bible says. They don't care about getting in order. They don't care about supreme order. All our people understand is chaos. All right? And it says, "His ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above out of his sight." Meaning that wicked men don't understand judgment. That's what the Bible says. Right? They don't know how to understand. They can't fathom or understand how to deal with certain situations, because they wicked as hell. They don't know how to be like, how do I go to the Bible, or how do I go to the scriptures and judge this situation righteously and not judge it based upon my emotions. That's just one aspect of it. The other aspect of it is our people don't understand that the Most High can literally slap them upside the head. Right? It says, as for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. Meaning that you got Negroes out here right now, man. They get a bunch of money, man. They start thinking they're above the law. Right? You with a large congregation. You sitting up in the hot seat. You got your chest all puffed out. You got that prideful look on you, that prideful countenance on you. You got a little bit of money. You on top of the world. You ain't on top of the world if you got a bunch of money with your oppressor's face on it. Right? You are simply just a consumer to build up his markets. That's just plain and simple. Plain and simple. Right? Verse 6. He hath said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. So some of you brothers and sisters got to get your act together, man. Because some of y'all don't realize that you are in fact behind enemy lines. Some of y'all forget that. That you are actually in adversity. It says in verse 6 again, he hath said in his heart and his mind, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. Verse 7, his mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. There is no integrity in our communities, which is why you still seeing our people getting lynched today, still getting killed by the police, still getting treated unjustly, still getting treated unfairly. This is why these things are going on, because we don't have integrity in our nation. Verse 8, he sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places doth he murder the innocent. His eyes are privily set against the poor. Y'all see that? It says he sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places doth he murder the innocent. Everywhere we turn around, it's a battle. It's a battle on both sides in our nation. We have to worry about our own brothers sitting in these lurking places, murdering the innocent, defrauding the innocent. What else did it say in verse 7? Right? Cursing and deceiving our own brothers. On top of that, it's hard to be an honest Israelite. It's hard to be an honest black American or a black person in general. It's hard to be an honest Hispanic man or woman. It's hard to be a honest and full of integrity Native American. It's hard to be that when you got to fight and deal with the deceit and the fraud from your own people, and then you have to deal with that as well with the so-called white man. No, ain't even just gonna blame the so-called white man. We gonna say the Chinese man, the Arab man. We gonna say anybody else that's outside of your nation, right? We have to deal with being these people sitting in the innocent places, murdering the innocent, right? Verse 9. He lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den. He lieth in wait to catch the poor. He doth catch the poor when he draweth him into his net. You brothers and sisters better be sending up the prayers, man. And you better be trying to walk circumspectly, because judgment is just around the corner. We don't know what that brother had going on. We don't know if the Most High was just fed up with this brother and he said, you know what, I'm finna send a death angel. This brother clearly didn't have, the brother that got that they found with a rope around his neck clearly didn't have the Most High's hedge of protection around him if he was murdered. But how are you going to rule it as a suicide? Because number one, how no one's has a clear understanding on how he killed himself. It's crazy how forensics can figure out everything else and have been dealing with these type of suicides or just this same type of situation, and all of a sudden in 2024 we don't have the damn technology to figure this out now. That's questionable, man. That's very questionable. You brothers and sisters have to pray for the Most High to keep his hedge of protection around you. You could just get in your freaking car in the morning and it be your last time getting in your car. It could be your last time seeing your family tonight. These are the things we got to be thinking about, especially if we saying that we in this walk. All right? Verse 10, he croucheth and humbleth himself, that the poor may fall by his strong ones. Verse 10, he hath said in his heart, God hath forgotten. He hideth his face, he will never see it. So just because you didn't receive judgment right away, like we read in 2nd Esdras, it's not our job to worry about how the Most High gonna send judgment on the wicked. Because the Most High is just, and he's going to do that. He's going to send out that judgment. All right? Let's move on. Shout out to everybody that's tapping in today, man, on this Tuesday. I appreciate. Was we even on the screen? Lord have mercy. We wasn't even on Blue Letter. My apologies, y'all. But we're going to go to the book of Isaiah chapter 29. Shout out to everybody that's tapping in today on Tuesday night, man, lending me some time. All right, all praise to the Most High. All right, that you are, you're studying. I hope everybody is staying studied up and staying prayed up and, in the scripts, man. All right, so we're going to go to the book of Isaiah chapter 29. Let's see here. Isaiah 29, verse 9 through 15. All right, let's see. 9 through 15. All right. The book of Isaiah chapter 29, verse 9. And it reads, stay yourselves and wonder. Cry ye out and cry. They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink. For the Lord hath poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep. There is a deep sleep that are over the Most High's chosen people. There is a deep sleep over the Most High's chosen elect right now, right? And that sleep is not understanding that you are God's chosen people. You have to come back to keeping the commandments of the Most High God. You have to repent and turn away from all of your wicked ways, right? Verse 10 again, for the Lord hath poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep, and have closed your eyes. The prophets and your rulers, the seers, hath he covered. And we probably gonna hit how your candlestick can be put out. Just because you can see this right now, if you being wicked as hell and you can see this thing right now, eventually you will no longer see it. If you're moving contrary to the scriptures, eventually you will be back into religion. Eventually you'll be back in the world. Eventually you'll be back. You'll be an atheist or something. Right? Let's just call a spade a spade. Right? We might do a class on your candlestick being put out. It's a whole lot of stuff to cover, but we're simply talking about things that are going on in the world right now, and that's why I'm sounding like a broken record. All right? Repent. Come back to keeping the commandments in the faith of Christ, in the faith of Yahushua. All right? The book of Isaiah chapter 29 and verse 11. And the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed, right? Of a book that is sealed. If you know anything about how this works, about how, matter of fact, let's go to it, man. Because I don't want to, I'm going off track. We're going to go into the book of Revelation. I want to show y'all something. about how seals work. I think it's we could say 1 through 5. I might not even read all of that, but we're gonna go to the book of Revelations, chapter 5. Excuse me. 1 through 5. I might not read all of this, like I said. All right. Let me show y'all what it's saying right now, so we can go back to that. Give you some kind of understanding on what's being said. It says in Revelations 5:1, and I saw in the right hand of him that sat on the throne a book written, and on the backside sealed with 7 seals. And I saw a strong angel proclaiming with a loud voice, who is worthy to open the book? Y'all see that? Who is worthy to open the book and to loose the seals thereof? And no man in heaven nor in earth, neither the earth was able to open the book, neither to look thereon. And I wept much, because no man was found. What it say? No man was found worthy to open and to read the book, neither to look thereon. Verse 5. And one of the elders saith unto me, weep not. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the Root of David, hath prevailed to open the book and to loose the 7 seals. Now, I don't know if y'all picking up on this. I appreciate y'all that's tapping in. Shout out to everybody that's tapping in. All praises to the Most High. Shout out to y'all, man. It's another 2S Forward Tuesday. We going into a part 2 of this thing, man. It's a part 3 segment, but we talking about I think I'm pronouncing it right. Javian McGee, man. Right? We should have hit this when it happened. As I stated, there are so many things going on, and we're a little bit late. All right, but let's go back. Let's go back to the book of Isaiah, chapter 29. We just read that in Revelation chapter 5 of the books being sealed, okay? And it reads, well, let's start at verse 11. Let me make sure I got it up for y'all. Man, I ain't even got the screen up. Lord have mercy. All right, let me see. Excuse me. We're going to start at verse 11. And it reads, and the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed. You see that? We just read in Revelation chapter 5 that you have to be worthy. In order for all of these books that you're reading in the Bible are authoritative, because the people that wrote it, right? We have the original manuscripts to make it authoritative to what we have today as the Bible. All right, which was worthy for the book to be open, because they are a witness, and this is an account that was given to us by the prophets. Okay, in verse 11 it says, and the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed, meaning that some of y'all are unworthy to even open this book, because you're not going to even take the words in the book seriously. A lot of y'all just going through the motions and just reading the book. A lot of people in Christianity just reading the book like it's a novel with no real understanding. You have to be worthy to have the full understanding of the scriptures, right? And it says, which men deliver to one that is learned, right? You got to be learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I cannot, for it is sealed. Some of y'all not going to have certain understandings because it's not opened up to you. Some of y'all, it's prophesied that some Israelites are going to continue to stay in wickedness and continue to depend on this, to continue to depend on this man and everything that he has to offer, right? Because these things are not opened up to them, right? Verse 12, and the book is delivered to him that is not learned. There's a lot of people in Christianity, a lot of Christian apologists that have this book, but they're not learnt in the actual understanding of the scriptures, right? The scriptures say, through thy precepts I get understanding. There's a thing going around right now that we don't need to get away from, but people are in this truth trying to get away from, of saying, like, I'm not saying anything is wrong with reading context, because context can be very important and vital to breaking down the scriptures. But we're never going to say that precept upon precept is not the way to learn the Bible. The scriptures say, through thy precepts I gain understanding, right? We understand that we might be reading one specific verse, and to get a full understanding of that one specific verse, we got to go to a whole nother verse, a whole nother book, chapter, and verse, right? And it reads, what we at? Verse 13. Wherefore the Lord said, for as much as this people draw near me with their mouth. There's a lot of people that have lip service. Lord, I love you. All praise to the Most High. Shalom, Most High in Christ bless. Jesus is Lord. Right? They say all of these different things. Wherefore the Lord said, for as much as this people draw near me with their mouth and with their lips do honor me, but have removed their heart far from me. A lot of people you're going to run into that's teaching this Bible, reading the Bible. Y'all going to hear me say it week in and week out, because the Bible says it over and over again. They're going through the motions, but their minds are far away from keeping the commandments. Behind closed doors, they being nasty as hell. Right? And it says, and their fear toward me is taught by precept of men. A lot of y'all just in this for men, following men, for the camaraderie. You're not going to open you listening to your elders, but you ain't going back and observing and meditating on none of the scriptures that these brothers are giving you, right? Scriptures is just going out in vain to some of y'all, all right? Verse 14, Isaiah 28 and verse 14. Therefore, behold, I will proceed to do a marvelous work among this people, even a marvelous work and a wonder. For the wisdom of their wise men shall perish. You see that? For the wisdom of their wise men shall perish. Where are the wise men? You got young guys coming into this truth, learning how to, young women, young guys, and young sisters, right? Coming into this truth, learning how to hold marriages together better than all the old heads, 60, 50, 40-year-olds out here, man. Learning how to build and create a healthy family dynamic, right? I'm just using that as one example out of many, right? It says, for the wisdom of their wise men shall perish, and the understanding of their prudent men shall be hid, right? And it says in verse 15, woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord. What are they doing with JV and McGee right now? It sounds like they're seeking deep to hide their counsel. We're going to try to sweep this under the rug. We're using that as an example. A lot of y'all want to hide y'all lives from the Lord, right? And it says, and their works are in dark. And they say, who seeth us and who knoweth us? There's a lot of evil works being done in the dark. All right, let's move on. Shout out to everybody that's tapping in, man. All praises to the Most High for you brothers and sisters. And this is another 2S Sword Tuesday. If you haven't already, please like, share, subscribe the page. All right. If you don't do anything, at least like the comment. I can't see if you liked it. If you are watching this in secret, I'm not going to know that you personally liked it. Just please like the video. It doesn't alert me about anyone specific that likes this video. Please like the video, share the video if you can, all right, and subscribe to the channel if you're new here. All right, all praises to the Most High. All right, so we're going to go to the book of Psalms, chapter 64, verse 1 through 10. Psalms chapter 64, verse 1 through 10. We're going to pull it up on the blue letter. Make sure I got this up for y'all. All right, all praises. We ain't going to be much longer, y'all. What's going on here? All right, the book of Psalms, chapter 64 and verse 1. Sorry. And it reads, to the chief musician, a psalm of David, hear my voice, O God, in my prayer. Preserve my life from fear of the enemy. All right. We can't be fearful of these people. We can't walk around in fear of whether or not we're going to live to see another day in this man's kingdom. All right. Of what they can do to us, especially for standing up for truth. Verse 2, it says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. Y'all better be praying this thing, man. Satan is standing there to kill, steal, and destroy, as they say. Every last one of us, at some point in time in our life, has had a death angel following us. If you know this truth specifically, and you know that it's something that you need to be working on in your life, you better be trying your damn hardest to fix it. Because we never know when the Most High gonna send judgment, man. David sending up a prayer asking the Most High, right? He said, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, right? We want to be hid from the things that's getting ready to come to this place. A lot of y'all hate your brothers when we gonna need each other in the wilderness, right? It says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, right? Verse 3, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words. Verse 4, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. You see that? It's going to be a lot of shots taken at you physically and spiritually in secret. Right? We know for generations, it's been generation after generation after generation, man. This ain't the first lynching. This isn't the first time one of our brothers get killed and no one gonna stand up and have integrity. This is the first time that something that's happened to our people and things have been swept under the rug. It's been going on with police brutality for years. Right? In other instances, verse 4 again, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. And the perfect is you so-called blacks, natives, and Hispanics whose forefathers are of Negro and Indian descent. The perfect are y'all that are that have the right spirit, that are operating in the spirit of Christ, keeping the commandments. And those that are self-examining themselves and measuring the time. And those that are not constantly pointing the damn finger at others. That's y'all. This is y'all. Hold on, y'all. I can see half of my face. That's y'all. That's who that's talking about. The perfect. All right? And it reads in verse 5. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. You see that? You got a lot of people that are encouraging themselves in evil matters to justify what they did. To justify what happened. To justify why they killing us. To justify why they're not going to give us resources. To justify why they're not going to put us back in our own land. To justify why they're not going to give us our own government. Right? You're going to justify why you holding a grudge on somebody. Right? You're going to justify all of these evil matters. These are the places, this is the time and place that we're living in. In all of these nations that have been justified, encouraging themselves in these evil matters, justifying everything that they have been doing to us, are going to be destroyed with this place, along with you wicked Israelites that are justifying why you evil as hell. All right. It says they commune of laying snares privily. Right? We know that there are all type of traps set up for our people in this man's kingdom. We know that there's going to be brothers amongst you that are going to spy out your liberty, right? And hate you and be jealous of you. And trip you up in your words. Want to try to get you out your spot. Right? We're going to read on. It says, they say, who shall see them? The Lord gonna see you. Right? Verse 6. They search out iniquities. They searching out sins. They accomplish a diligent search. People that search out other people's sins, knowing good and damn well they got skeletons in their closet. This is the problem. This is the problem. It says in verse 6 from the top, they search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. Verse 7, but God shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. The Most High is going to send out judgment. The Most High is a just God. Verse 8, so they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. Just because we haven't seen our salvation today doesn't mean that it's not around the corner. Just because the wicked that rule this earth have not been judged yet does not mean that their judgment is not on the way. Just because you got brothers amongst you that are evil doesn't mean that their judgment isn't around the way. Right? Verse 9. And all men shall fear and shall declare the work of God, for they shall wisely consider of his doing. Verse 10. The righteous shall be glad in the Lord and shall trust in him. You see that? The righteous shall be glad in the Lord and shall trust in him. Having faith, trusting in the Lord, man. All right. And we're going to read on, and it says, and all the upright in heart shall glory. All you righteous folks, man, you're going to have your time. It's just unfortunate today that we are surrounded by a kingdom that pushes wickedness, that accepts evil doings. It's unfortunate that we have to be in this situation. All right, we're gonna move on. We're gonna get on through this. The book of Psalms, chapter 83. We're gonna do some more reading. We're doing some reading today, y'all. The book of Psalms, chapter 83, verse 1 through 18. All right, I'm not gonna overtalk this. I'm gonna try to get through this. And it reads, keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For, lo, thine enemies make a tumult. They that hate thee have lifted up the head. Verse 3, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people. They have taken crafty counsel against our people. All right. And consulted against thy hidden ones. They're going to come up with new ways to continue to kill us. They're going to come up with new ways, especially the ones like ourselves that know who we are, that's pushing this truth. Y'all got to start expecting that at some point in time. You can't keep your husbands and your sons covered all the time, because there just might come a time where we're going to have to die for pushing this gospel, for pushing this truth, for pushing that salvation is only for the Jews, only for the Israelites. You have to prepare your mind for these things, man. You have to prepare your mind to go into if you're gonna go into the white man's hospital, that something could possibly happen to your child. because of the crafty counsel that he has taken against your people. Right? Verse 4. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation. I just said one thing specific about going into these hospitals. Even our children are under attack, right? They injecting our children with God knows what. At first, you know, it was a lot of our people was having asthma and bronchitis and all of these other things, coming up with cases of this stuff out of nowhere. Now you got a lot of our brothers and sisters, young brothers and sisters out here that have autistic, right? And they weren't born with it. They were getting injected with something that the so-called white man, with something that the so-called white man told them they had to get. Right? We have all of these different attacks on us, man. Right? The Klan doesn't need to kill us anymore because we're gonna do it ourselves. Right? Charlotte, right here in Charlotte, North Carolina, I believe they're averaging about 4 murders a day at one point in time. We ain't gonna talk about Chicago. We know in Miami people dying every day. We know in New York, we know in New York people dying every day. We know in LA people definitely dying every day. Right? All of these different things that they have came together to try to cut us off from being a nation. You see the music that they're trying to feed us all the time, what they're feeding the youth, right? Talking about a op this, a op that, right? We see what they doing with Sexy Red, Megan Thee Stallion. We see what they've been doing with like people like Lil Kim. We see what the image that they've been portraying out there with people like Nicki Minaj and all of these different things as a representation of the so-called black woman. And yes, I'm not going to say the black, Hispanic, and Native American woman because all of y'all fall in one. Right? Let's read it again. Verse 4. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Verse 5, for they have consulted together with one consent, meaning that all these nations have come together to destroy you. The so-called white man, he'll argue all day long, he'll fight amongst himself, but as soon as it come down to coming against Darky, he gonna do that. Right? Verse 5, for they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gabal, and Ammon, and Amalek, which is nothing but an elite version of Esau, or the kingdom of Edom, right? The Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre, right? Africans, Assur also is joined with them. They have holpen the children of Lot, Selah. Verse 9, do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to the Sisera, as to the Jabin, as the brook of Kison, which perished at Ender. They became as dung for the earth. We became as dung as the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb and Zeb, yea, all their princes as Zebah and Zalmunna, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession. Meaning that you're going to build houses and it's going to be owned. It's going to be built. You're going to build things and it's all going to be owned by the so-called white man. You might have it. You might have paid for it cash, but it's still owned by the so-called white man because you have to pay property taxes on it. Don't pay your property taxes for a year or two. See what happens to your property. They're going to take it, right? Don't pay, don't pay your mortgage, for a year or so and see what's going to happen. That thing going to be up on foreclosure. He has the power to take it away from you. Verse 13, oh my God, make them like a wheel as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth a wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them which thou temptest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name, O Lord. Let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish. All praises. Verse 18, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Jehovah, art the most high over all of the earth. All right. All right. We're going to go to the book of Hebrews chapter 4 and in verse 12. Hebrews, man, time don't be playing, man. It do not feel like I done been on here an hour. We're going to go to the book of Hebrews chapter 4 and verse 12. We almost done, y'all. The book of Hebrews chapter 4 and verse 12. And it reads, for the word of God is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. All right. So the word of God is a two-edged sword. Okay. Let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 43 and verse 29. No, we're just going to read 30 today. The book of Sirach, chapter 43 and verse 30, and it reads, when you glorify the Lord, exalt him as much as you can. Exalt the Most High God as much as you possibly can. Constantly send up the prayers, okay? For even yet will he far exceed. He's going to always far exceed our expectations. And when you exalt him, put forth all your strength. Put forth all your strength in pushing this thing, pushing the gospel. All right? And be not weary, for ye can never go far enough. Soon as you thought you knew enough, you didn't. Soon as you thought you read enough scriptures, you did not. Soon as you thought you put in enough work for the Lord, you did it. It's going to always be something to do in this truth, y'all. And 98% of that is going to be to work on yourself. I hope that this class was edifying. I hope that somebody took something from this class. All right. We're going to go to the book of Acts chapter 5 and verse 29. And it reads, then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we ought to obey God rather than men. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to obey the Most High God of Israel over man any day, because man will fail you every single time. All right. I'm your brother Paz Yasharala. All right. This is another Two-Edged Sword Tuesday. Again, I hope that this was edifying. If you haven't already, please like this video, share it if you can, and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. All right. And with that, y'all, I'm going to say shalom.